Hello, welcome to part 4 of Breaking Bias, where we're looking at artificial intelligence and how to avoid baked-in bias. Now, so far we've looked at training data and the black box problem, and we've seen the problems that Google have, even trying to create a seemingly simple photo sorting app. But it's not just computer vision and photo sorting where Google are having bias problems. Let's take Google Translate. Now, if you take this seemingly simple phrase like she is a doctor, he is a nurse, and you put it into Turkish, it takes out the gender pronouns because Turkish doesn't have them. Now, let's take that non-gendered Turkish phrase and translate it back into English. And Google had a problem. They need a gender pronoun, so they turned to machine learning to inject the most likely gender pronoun into this sentence. And so we get he is a doctor, she is a nurse. This is a different branch of machine learning called word embedding. Word embedding draws connections between two different words and is starting to be used in a lot of AI systems right now. Now, if that simple word embedding was biased, connecting, say, man to doctor and woman to nurse, then it can amplify that historical bias in new and really unexpected ways. Recently, a pediatrician was locked out of the changing room at a Pure Gym. They eventually figured it out that in her profile she had put herself down as a doctor. Word embedding had connected doctor to man, and it had automatically locked her out of the changing room. And it gets worse. Last year, Amazon wanted to use machine learning to help them filter and sort through all of the thousands and thousands of resumes they get through. So they took all of their successful resumes to date and they trained an algorithm to pattern detect that type of person. Now, the problem was they'd historically been hiring predominantly male candidates, so the algorithm then started sifting through those resumes and only selecting the male candidates. The algorithm doesn't have a sexist agenda here, it's just pattern recognizing based on the information that it was trained on. Now, what's particularly shocking, and probably what Amazon weren't expecting, is that resumes tend not to have our gender on them. So how was it detecting this? Well, it was detecting the gender through all of those little micro instances. Word use, specific hobbies. Their male candidates wrote their CVs in a certain way and had certain interests. Female candidates were different, so it was filtering all of them out. So regardless of education and experience of talent, the algorithm was just excluding them. By their nature, these are discrimination tools designed to filter out everything but a certain pattern that it's been trained to see. Which is why AI is so dangerous as we move into a society that is trying to move away from exclusion and toward inclusion. And there are lots of cases of this happening with AI right now, which is why I'm instantly suspicious whenever a company starts using AI in their new tools. Now, so far, these examples have been eye-rolling and they've been frustrating. And we've seen how creating something as simple as an app to sort pictures into folders of cups and badges is open to horrific racial bias. And though these examples have been annoying, they haven't exactly been life or death. So it would be wholly irresponsible right now to build and sell an AI system that would help judges decide whether a criminal got parole or not. Oh yeah, one company has done that. Let's talk about Compass by Equivant, or Correctional Offender Management Profiling for Alternative Sanctions. Honestly, if you just want to call your product Compass, just call it Compass. It doesn't have to stand for anything. Compass is a piece of software used in the US right now, and it helps judges decide on whether a criminal is likely to reoffend or not. As a private third-party organization, Compass don't have to explain how their software does what it does, but what we do know from the outside looking in is that it's massively racist, often rating anyone who's black as a higher risk of reoffending. Now, this in itself is an absolute can of worms, and there are hundreds of societal complex reasons why this could be the case. But as we've seen, if we can't get sorting a photo right, maybe we shouldn't be using AI for something this important at this time. Let's work out how to do the picture sorting thing first, and then maybe we'll build up to dealing with the entire US legal system. Over in the UK, we're also rushing into this exciting world of AI with little regard for human rights and civil liberties. Recently, the Met Police have been criticised for their use of AI in CCTV, using it to detect faces in the streets to a database of known criminals. And no surprise, it was getting confused between black faces. Garbage in, garbage out. This is a phrase used in computer science all the time. And when we're starting to talk about AI, it starts to really stand out. You train a system on garbage, you will get garbage out. You put bias in, you will get bias out. You train a system on white faces, your system will only work with white faces. We're learning a really vital lesson here, and it's a course correction for AI teams. We can't just throw data into a machine and expect an unbiased solution to come out the other side. Instead, we have to carefully consider the data that we're training these systems on. Or as Jeffrey Bowker said, raw data is both an oxymoron and a bad idea. To the contrary, data should be cooked with care. So we fixed the training data and we're back on track to creating that unbiased utopian society, right? Maybe not. There's an even bigger problem at hand here, and we're going to look at that in the next part.